Alright guys, just as a quick reminder, only equipment we're going to need today is just your body weight and kettlebell. So my kettlebell is 35 pounds. If yours is crazy heavy, maybe you want to do maybe a rep or two less than I'm doing for the exercise. Maybe you're going to go a little, if it's a lighter, you're going to do a couple more reps. But just find a nice range that fits you, just depending on whatever equipment you have around. I can't imagine you have a range of kettlebell weights. So again, I got a 35 here. That's what I'm basing my workout off of. But again, you work with what you got up there. Move my camera a little bit. Hey, Deborah. All right, guys. So we're going to kick her off right now. My name is Rich Stauffer, PSP from CFB Edmonton. We're going to do a power class, which I will get into some details of in a moment. Another thing you're going to need is, for this class, is a little bit of water. Like I mentioned, I've got a kettlebell here. It is a 35 pounder. Obviously, depending on your fitness level, that can be really light, really heavy, whatever. You might have something a little heavier, a little lighter. Feel free to just drop the reps down a little bit or increase them based on whether you have a lighter or, a heavier or lighter weight respectively. Okay, also play your own music. I won't be playing music here. I just want to make sure that you're this microphone isn't competing with any music or anything like that, so you guys can hear my instruction, hopefully hear everything. That's important that I have to say. All right, so just like another class, I have a little bit of disclaimer to read here. So, in response to COVID-19, PSP is offering virtual fitness classes to Canadian Armed Forces members. By using social media platforms, the virtual fitness classes tailored to Canadian Armed Forces personnel become accessible to all. Participants who are not CAF members recognize and acknowledge that their age, health status, and physical fitness level are unknown, and it is entirely up to each individual to assess their ability to participate in this class. Since it is preferable to consult your physician before beginning any exercise program, we invite all participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members to consult the Get Active questionnaire of the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and its reference document. If you experience any pain or difficulty during the exercises presented in this video, it is recommended that you stop and consult a healthcare provider. If CAF members sustain an injury during this video, please remember to fill out a CF98. All right, so we're going to be doing a power class. This is called Power Hour. The idea is we're going to be working on the physical skill of power development. Power is defined as work over time. Work has components of force and distance. So we're going to be calling our work in this class how much distance we're displacing with our bodies, in most cases, and also with the kettlebell in a short amount of time. So you're better off to do, fewer reps. With a little bit more precision, kind of doing things a little faster, than to do more reps, but they gradually kind of slow down kind of thing. It's okay to kind of hit that thing where things start to slow down. We don't want to push it too much past that barrier. So we're going to really often be working between 1 and 3, maybe even 5 reps in some cases, but not much outside of that, because we want to, we're trying to develop power here. If it was circuit training class, endurance class, whatever, HIIT class, we might be doing things a little differently. For the power class, we're really going to be focusing on doing fewer reps and kind of getting higher quality, jumping as high as we can, swing the kettlebell as hard as we can, whatever the objective of that particular exercise is. That's what we're going for. Once again, it's not HIIT or circuit class, so you're not going to be breathing crazy hard during this. I mean, you might get your heart rate up a little bit, that's totally fine, but the goal isn't to kind of exhaust those energy systems. The goal is to make sure that you are working as hard as possible for a very short amount of time. Okay? If you spend the majority of this class out of breath, chances are we've kind of missed the mark and maybe didn't program it well. Maybe you did a couple too many reps on lots of the sets. You will be fatigued after this, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be more resting than we often have in other classes. 100% consecutive jumps at a height, for example, starting a little higher and gradually getting lower is not going to be productive at teaching you to generate power as a few good solid ones where you really concentrate all your effort on getting as high as possible. Okay? A little bit of safety warning here. I've got a little bit of a short ceiling, but I probably won't bonk my head on my ceiling unless I've developed more power since last time. I didn't quite get there last time, so I should be okay. If you're doing this with a low ceiling, find some place where, when you're worried about bonking your head on the ceiling, just watch out for that. I do have a light fixture right over here. I position myself where hopefully I won't make contact with it. That's all part of my precautionary measures to make sure I'm not wrecking up the place while I'm doing my power workout, and you should make some of those same considerations. Okay, yeah, like I said last time, I won't be responsible for you hurting your neck or ruining your drywall, so just be careful. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up. We're going to do something kind of more general, and then we're going to get into a specific warm-up, which kind of will have us jumping around a little bit more and gradually ramping things up. Whenever you do a power class, generally you're going to require a little bit more of a warm-up than a class where you can gradually ramp into things. Because with the power class, we are going to be going, when we're doing our working sets, we're going to be making a maximum effort pretty much right off the hop. So we want to make sure our warm-up is going to take a little bit longer, but it's also going to be an important part of this class here, okay? So we're going to start with the world's greatest stretch. I use this one pretty much every single time. Hopefully you guys, if you've seen enough of these classes, you kind of know where the point of all the positions of the stretches are. I'm going to go through those quickly the first time around, but I'm not going to talk through them quite as much because, again, I've used these ones pretty much every time, which is why I use the same stretches, so you guys get used to them, you get good at them, and you understand exactly what you're supposed to feel, okay? And hopefully improve a little bit of range of motion through those over time as well. Sometimes when you're starting out doing world's greatest stretch, you might be like, oh yeah, I'm pretty stiff, you know, normally I can go to X, you know, I can push the stretch to X point, and now I'm pretty tight kind of thing. It just, if you use some similar stretches each time, it gives you a really good idea, you know, of how you're doing for that particular workout. Maybe you spend more time, or like you get into a position that normally feels good, it feels kind of crappy, maybe you you modify your workout for the day. So I do like using, you don't have to use all the same stretches every single day, but I like the world's greatest stretch because it's got lots of different positions, it's lots of different things, and again, if you get familiar with those positions, you'll notice like, oof, I'm pretty tight today, I can't even get into this position I can normally get into very easily. I'm going to give you some feedback before you start the workout, whether that feedback, your response to that feedback is working, you know, working on a little more of a warm-up to kind of get into that good position, or maybe you modify your workout for the day. Much better off than, you know, finding out that you're really tight at, you know, at the very beginning of your workout. You're like, oh crap, I can't even hit the good position, or the position I've been trying to, I'm supposed to get into the workout. So anyway, a little bit of food for thought there. We're going to start with that world's greatest stretch, just like I promised. Left leg back, right leg forward, squeeze the back leg, the glute, pardon me, of the back leg, push it forward, nice stretch for the front of the hip here. Then we're going to turn the body just like that, more or less 180 degrees from where, or pardon me, 90 degrees from where it was, not 180, that'd be tough. Okay, from here, you're going to take a little exhale, send this hand up in the air, so my left knee's down, my left hand's up, just like that, reaching that palm towards the ceiling, nice stretch through here, still keeping that stretch in the hip flexor though. Excuse me, both hands down to the instep of the foot, you're going to hop back, just like that. The hand's going to go inside, our inside hand's going to come up towards the ceiling, stacking those shoulders up, swing the hand around the outside of the foot. Toes come up first, and you're going to shove back in a nice little hamstring stretch. All right, so we're going to switch sides. Squeeze the glute in the back leg, push hips forward, nice stretch for the front of the hips. You're going to look over that forward leg. Already getting sweaty, it's a good sign. Hand goes up to the ceiling. Squeeze the abs, still squeezing the glutes, still feeling that hip stretch. Both hands down at the front. The back leg towards the wall behind you. Hand goes up. A little bit of rotation through the spine. A little stretch across the pec, and that hand's up. A little shoulder. Hand goes to the outside of the foot. Push the hips back. Toes come up before you do anything. Again, just like every other time, you can do this instead to feel that hamstring stretch. Good. From here, we're going to take the feet slightly wider, shoulder width apart. Hands come out in front. We're going to get into a nice deep squat. Use the elbows, push the knees apart. Chest is relatively vertical. You're not looking at the floor. You don't need to be looking way up either, but nice neutral spine is the way to go. Elbows are pushing the knees out. Then we're going to push the hips up. Nice stretch to the hamstrings. So for me, for example, normally this isn't quite so bad on my hamstrings. Just means I got to make sure I get a good warm-up in. Back into the hamstrings. We're going to do this 3 times. This is our second time. The squat. Hamstrings, squat. If we move around a little bit. Whoops, that was already over 3. That's good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some YTW shoulder activation. Again, we've done this one lots before, so you should be fairly familiar with it. If you've seen any of my classes, I'm going to do it from standing position the first round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to abs on a little bit, glutes on a little bit. I'm just going to bend my knees to start, just unlock kind of the knees and hips. I'm going to push my hips back is nice and flat. All I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Y shape like this, T shape, W shape, Y, T, W, and again where I'm getting that Y to W is, you know, Y like YMCA, T like this, and W with my elbows like that, okay? And again, 3 times 2 is fine. Okay, we'll do the next round on the floor, which will require a little bit more mobility. Good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a plank with a shoulder tap. Okay, so what that's going to look like is I'm going to get into a nice plank position like this, just like that right there, and I'm going to just touch, switch, lifting one hand off the floor, 3 reps each. Do the same thing with my feet. You notice I didn't have to lift my feet up crazy high. You know, 1 or 2 inches is lots. We don't need to be lifting the foot way up in the air. As long as it feels like your butt, your glute is what's lifting each individual leg. A little bit hamstring for sure, but it shouldn't feel like your back is arching in order to make that happen, okay? We are going to go right back to the beginning. World's greatest stretch. Squeeze the glute, push hip forward, over that forward leg. Hand goes up. Both hands down. Up the back leg towards the wall behind you. Hand goes up. Around the outside of the foot. Shove back into that hamstring stretch. Switch sides. Squeeze glute. Over that forward leg. Hand goes up. You'll notice as you warm this up a little bit, the positions, the more often you do this, the positions might feel a little tight when you start. After a little bit of warm up, after you get through it, like on the second round there, I felt way more loose on it. Started to feel more like normal during these workouts, which is a good thing. Okay, feet, get a little wider, hands down. You can also, for this stretch, alternatively do this as well. This kind of, I feel like it allows me to shift back and forth from side to side. It can be useful. Only downside is some people, it will kind of cause their heels to come in, which is not ideal, especially for this hamstring stretch. Your toes can be pointing out a little bit. Your feet don't need to be totally parallel to each other. Second one. Hamstrings are starting to warm up a little bit now. Felt pretty tight that first round, but now I'm getting my elbows, or my knees, pardon me, just a little straighter. Good. Okay, now we're going to do the prone YTW. So again, the goal is make this shape, YTW. And while we're doing that, while I'm bringing my hand up to the Y, I want to make sure it comes from my shoulder as much as I can, and it doesn't come from my back moving. Your abs should be on a little bit, glutes should be on a little bit, making sure that it comes from the shoulder as opposed to coming from the back. Okay, so I can do that on the floor this time. So go Y, T, W, Y, T, W, Y, T, W. Good. Next thing we're going to do that plank shoulder tap. We'll kind of do it from this angle here this time. Again, I'm going to get into a plank. I'm not going to do shifting, dropping. The hips shouldn't move at all. Basically, if you were to, cover up the top half of my body, you shouldn't be able to tell that I'm doing a plank too, or that I'm lifting up a hand too much when I'm doing these planks. Okay. So I can have my feet a little wider apart. Again, a little bit of movement, not the end of the world, but if you're really shifting over from side to side, you're probably not accomplishing the goal of stabilizing and using the musculature around the core to make sure that you're stabilizing things, okay? Next thing is going to be with the leg lift, so you can't really tell, probably because of the angle, but I'm just lifting 1 foot, 1 inch off the floor. If it's too easy, widen your feet a little bit. That'll make it certainly a lot more difficult. Okay, so with plank with shoulder tap, wide feet's easier, but with the plank with leg lift, wide feet is harder. Okay, definitely a good idea to just try to get a little wider each time on the leg lift, a little more narrow each time with the feet on the shoulder tap. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 rounds of a super general warm-up. I just used 3 push-ups, 3 sit-ups, 6 squats, and 3 lunges on each leg, just to get the blood pumping. Then we're going to move into a more specific warm-up for this particular workout, okay? So we've got some push-ups here. Let's just go ahead and break into that right now. 3 push-ups. Over. Now I'm doing some squats. 6 reps here. Chest stays up, feet stay flat on the floor the whole way. Now I'm going to do some lunges. We're going to do step back lunge, just like this. Doing 3 on each leg, 6 total. Chest is staying relatively vertical for these. I lost count, so I'll do one more on each leg. Good. Now you start the whole thing over again. 3 push-ups, 3 sit-ups, 6 squats, 3 lunges on each leg. I know you can probably do more sit-ups than 3. Probably do more push-ups than 3 as well. But this is our warm-up, so we don't need to go nuts. Squats next. Lunges. Good. Awesome. Now a quick sip of water. All right, next thing we're gonna do is now that we've kind of got the blood pumping a little bit, we're gonna do a static hip flexor stretch. I know we're just moving around a little bit, but we really want to get into those hip flexors. If our goal here is to jump as high as we can, or tighten the hip flexors, might be cutting that range short before we leave the ground, which is not ideal. We want to push as hard as possible through the floor with the legs, and if we're all bound up in here, that's not going to work. So, all we're going to do, squeeze the glute, just like that first step to that world's greatest stretch. Now we're going to hang on to the stretch. If you happen to be in your living room, just as you guys are doing this, I'll offer you an alternative. What you can do is use your couch for a little bit of an assist when my foot's back up on the couch. That really kicks that stretch up a notch. If that's something you want to do. Some of you guys might be working out in your living room. Certainly not a bad idea. So I've kind of missed out on that 1 minute that I was trying to do, so we'll go ahead and switch sides. Going to be a little lopsided this workout. That's okay. I know lots of people, good people that are lopsided, so I'll be all right. Hold on to this one for another 30 seconds or so. Making sure to squeeze that glute no matter what position you're in. That helps open up the hip. Get a little bit of quad stretch in there too. If you're active through the glute, you'll loosen up a lot here, a lot faster. Right, so I'm going to adjust my camera that I had perfect. Probably screwed up and blind you guys with that one light that I had there. That's not terrible. We'll keep that. Good. Next thing, we're going to do a dead bug. So we're going to focus on using the muscles around the core, the abs, to stabilize. We're going to start out doing the first couple reps with no arms involved, just the legs. We want to make sure we are activating properly there. And making sure, basically we're trying to keep the distance between the bottom of the rib cage, top of the hips more or less static, no matter what's going on with the arms and legs, okay? So to start, you're gonna get into this position right here. Okay, so I'm just laying down face up. I'm gonna squeeze my abs to kind of push my low back into the floor. As you do that, you should kind of feel, especially if you're on a hardwood floor like this, or some kind of tile or anything like that, you should feel like your tailbone almost curls up just a tiny little bit. You should just move a little bit, and you should feel like your shoulder blades don't need to move off the floor, but you should feel like your rib cage is being pulled up from this point up. So it's like a little bit of a crunch almost to start. From here, knees are going to come up. Then you bring your shoulder blades off the floor, okay? So I'm looking like this right here, and we're going to start. All I want you to do is keep the hands kind of here, make sure this doesn't move. If this moves, reset. So if as I go down here, I feel my back start to move, stop, reset for the next rep. And I'm going to do 4 or 5 per side. Nice and slow. This part right here, right before you touch the floor, is going to be the hardest part. I find a lot of people kind of suck at this, to be totally frank. It's because at the very bottom, they give up. Their back gives out. Well, their back doesn't give out, but in order to reach that last little bit towards the floor, what happens is they kind of release this this squeeze, their low back moves. They're letting this distance between the bottom rib cage, top of the hips open up a little bit, which is not the point of the exercise. So I'm going to do the same thing now. I'm going to do opposite arm, opposite leg, get the arms involved. If you're better at it, you can let the hands come a little closer to the floor. And again, it's going to get hardest with the handed foot closest to the floor, so squeeze hardest at that point. I certainly don't have the world's strongest core, but I'm pretty strong. and certainly even the dead bug, which is a super basic exercise as seen by most people. When I get further into the set, I can feel that challenge. Beads of sweat start to form on my head. So I know it's not certainly a waste of time. Next thing we're going to do is a little calf raises. So we are going to be using the lower leg to kind of help us jump. Your hips are going to be most of the work, but oftentimes we'll find ourselves pushing off the floor with the foot. The calf's going to be driving that quite a bit, so you just want to make sure the calf's nice and warm. You can do some calf raises just like this on the floor, or if you happen to have a set of stairs nearby, you can stand on the edge of the stairs. Got some stairs right there, but my camera wouldn't pick it up, so I'm just going to hang out and do 20 reps with you just like this. I personally like the version where I'm loaded off the stairs. I can kind of rebound a little bit more, but this gets most of the work done. We're going for 20 reps. I'm counting, so let's do 3 more. Got a little distracted. All right. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a squat, and then we're going to end up on our toes. So now we're kind of incorporating the hips and the calves a little bit. So we're going to squat all the way down, a little bit of range of motion here. We're going to come up, just like that. Awesome, right up on the toes. Just 3 reps. Good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a jump squat. So we're just going to have our feet leave the floor just a teensy little bit. Can you scroll down for me, please? Yeah, so just a tiny bit. So all we're going to do is we're going to go down. We're just going to have the toes leave the floor a little bit. So good. Awesome. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to leave the floor just a sliver of space, a very little hang time, okay? So again, 3 reps. We're not going to use the arms too much this time. We're going to go down. Good. So obviously, if I'm trying to jump as high as I can, getting those arms involved, super important. We're going to do that during the workout, just not for this particular one. I want you to concentrate on what's happening. The thing that's going to help you jump the most is hips extending more or less at the same time as the knees, and the ankles kind of getting in on the action too. We don't want to be popping at the ankles before the hips do their work though. Okay, and now we're just going to leave the floor a little bit. Just 3 reps. Good. And we're getting full range of motion with those. We're going all the way to the bottom, and then we're jumping up. For lots of our squat jumps today, we're not going to bottom out. All I want you guys to do is go as low as you can. Obviously, this is a lot different than this right here. If we're talking about the position your body's in, it's probably closer to a deadlift. If I'm doing a deadlift or a power clean, if you guys are familiar with that. This is more, or even a kettlebell swing, this is a position I'm going to be more like if I'm doing a full squat, we're going all the way down, coming up, and then jumping like that right there. That's what we were just doing. For this next drill, we're going to do some squat jumps. We are going to be dropping the chest. We're not going to be doing the full squat to the bottom and jumping up as hard as possible because kind of lose some of that elastic potential in parts of the system if you go all the way through the full range of motion in the squat. Just like if I was going to tell you to do, if you're a basketball guy, if I'm going to get you to do a layup, there's no reason to go down here and jump all the way up. That's probably not how you're going to do things to get as high as you can, okay? You're just going to load enough tension into those quads or the hips so you get maximum jump, and that usually happens at about, again, this kind of depth here. If I'm jumping, this is probably where it's going to be. Torso might get down to 45 degrees, kind of this is 90, 45 degrees. Not much past that, okay? And we're probably not going to keep a super vertical torso because that does not load the glutes and hamstrings effectively. Okay, so that's a body position we're going to use. So we are going to do a little bit of an EMOM set. That just means every minute on the minute. We're going to start out by doing 3 jumps. This first set, we're not going to use the arms, but you're going to jump as high as possible. So arms are straight out in front. We're going to start that right now. 3 jumps. Good. I feel like I'm getting closer to my ceiling, so I'll just be careful. So that was 3 jumps. Every minute on the minute. All that means is at 0, I'm going to jump. So we just jumped at 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Now we're going to jump at 1 minute and 0 seconds. We're going to do 3 jumps. This time we are going to use the arms, and we're going to have minimal ground contact time, okay? So we're going to go nice, quick jumps. Minimal time on the floor with this one. So I just did my set. You're going to do yours in about 20 seconds. I'll join you for a bonus one. Okay, so minimal ground contact time. You hit the ground, minimal amount of time while still getting in the quads. You don't just want to be hopping on your toes, right? That minimizes ground contact quite a bit. I still want you to go up, okay? So like this. Good. Awesome. Another minute to rest, or 45 seconds left to rest. I kind of talked into our go time there. Okay, so for the next 3 sets, what we're going to do, or 4 sets, pardon me, we're going to just jump as high as possible in those squat jumps, okay? And we're going to do that again every minute on the minute. You're going to do, I said 1 to 3 reps. If you're really good at this stuff, you might do 5. But again, as soon as you feel yourself start to slow down, if you feel like you're not jumping as high, you start to slow down, you're really hanging out for a long time on the ground loading that jump, that's not necessarily helping us get better at getting higher if we start to slow down. Name of the game is a little bit of speed here, so I want to make sure we're doing that. 5 seconds, we're going to do 3 jumps, or whatever you decide is right for you. Bonus jump for me there. That'll be good for the next 50 seconds. As you guys are in between sets, all you gotta do, walk around, shake the legs out. Again, we're not trying to make you guys super out of breath with this class. The goal is to focus on that 5 to 10 seconds of work you're doing and recover for the rest of it. So this would be, takes us 5 seconds to jump, which is a little, or 10 seconds to jump, pardon me, which is a little generous. But we're looking at about a 1 to 5 work to rest ratio, and that's totally appropriate for developing power. Might seem like I'm out of breath, but I never stop talking, so that's probably one of the reasons. Once I get really tired, then I'll shut up automatically. Okay, let's do another set. Awesome. I must have got better at jumping. Touched my head to the ceiling on that last one. It's a good thing, and it can be, especially if you're kind of novice to this, it can be pretty typical that the last jump will actually be your best one. You'd think, well, you know, I'm fatigued, I should be getting worse at jumping. What's happening is you're probably becoming a little bit more efficient because you jumped on a rep. You thought, ooh, I could have done that better. You do a little better the next time. You think, you know what, I got it this time on the 3rd one. You nail it. And the more often we do this, the more often, or the more warmed up you get, the more likely it is that the first jump will be your best one because you're actually operating at good efficiency once you kind of get a little warmed up. If, like me, or somebody that doesn't work on this power stuff a lot, it can take a little while to kind of reach that very best jump. I'm going to try to touch my head to the ceiling again on this last one. See how it goes. Whew. Just like that. So that was only like 5-6 seconds of work. So we're getting a little bit more than a 5 to 1 rest to work, but that's okay. A little bit more rest isn't a bad thing, especially if you're trying to jump as high as you can. 20 seconds. And again, as high as possible. We've got 2 more sets like this, and we're going to change it up. For some reason I jumped a little closer to you on that one. I did a traveling set. Not ideal for maximum power up, but not the end of the world. I think I was looking at you, so I gradually got a little closer. I was trying to focus on going up, but I definitely translated myself horizontally as well too on that one. Not the end of the world, but ideally that's where we're trying to go. Not that way. Really made a big forward jump on that last one. Okay, so this is going to be the last one where we just jump as high as we can using our arms. The next one, we are going to go no arms, okay? But on this one, this is the last one we're doing arms, jumping as high as we can, and I'm going to try to fix my problem with last time of jumping towards you guys. Make sure I don't wreck my light. Good job. Awesome. Okay, this next one, we're going to minimize the arm swing. Very little arms. I'm going to hold mine out in front. Ideally, again, if we're going to get maximum height, we're using our arms for sure. But for this one, we're going to minimize the arms. Just make sure we concentrate on extending those legs hard on each rep. All right, guys, ready? Set yourself up. Awesome. Okay, next one, we're going to use our arms, but we're going to really minimize foot contact time with the floor, okay? You guys might notice as I'm jumping, my feet are about hip width apart. That's a pretty good spot for most people to be. Toes can be pointed out just a little bit. That usually works fairly well as well. Something I probably could have mentioned. Probably something you guys did all by yourself, even if you started shoulder width, because you're looking, we were talking about squat jumps before. Generally speaking, hip width is the way to go to generate maximum amount of power. And that's certainly, looking at some of my jumps, that's where I was hanging out the majority of the time as well. Okay, last jumps, last set of 3, or again, 1 to 5 reps, whatever you're at, but I'm going to do 3. And again, really minimizing foot contact time with the floor, trying to leave the floor as fast as you can, while still bending your knees and moving at the hips. We don't want to just be bouncing off the calves here. Okay, let's do it. Whew. Not too bad, definitely lagged a little bit on the ground on my last one, but not too bad. Okay, good job, guys. We are going to do some push-ups next. So you can either do clapping push-ups. I'm probably not going to clap. What I'm going to do is probably just push as hard as I can. I find the clap tends to be a little distracting for me personally. I will push as hard as I can because I'm worried about putting my hands together, which is not, it's not a clapping contest. It's a pushing as hard as we can. I got up against the floor. Anywhere from 1 to 5 reps. I'm going to do 3 again. But again, if you're trying to do 5s, you notice yourself really crapping out on the second rep. Your speed is really slowing down. Point of the exercise is to practice being as fast as possible. If you're slowing down in the back half, you're probably not really working that speed side of things. So we got to be fast to get faster kind of thing. If we really start to lag out, we're just going to learn how to kind of be a little slower, which is not ideal. So we're going to get right into that. We are going to do just 5 sets. We're actually going to go once every 30 seconds instead of once every minute. I find if we reduce the reps again, I'm doing 3 reps, but you can do as few as 1 here, as many as 5. I find less reps is a little better, but because we're doing fewer reps, we can shorten the time that we're working a little bit, or we're putting between reps, pardon me, a little bit, and still get an effective workout in just in less time, less standing around kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to go 1 to 3 reps every 30 seconds, and we're going to start that off right now. If you want to do this from your knees, you certainly can. Big goal with this is to make sure that you're keeping your body relatively straight, not piking your hips way up in the air to do these push-ups, okay? So without further ado, let's go. Okay. Whew. So we got 20 more seconds to rest. I might even drop my reps down from 3 to 2. I feel like I was a little slower on that last one than I wanted to be. But we'll see if I get tuned up on my next set. It was after on my first set. Maybe I'm just warming up a little bit in the upper body. All right, let's do it. Awesome. So that one was a little better. Again, every 30 seconds when you're doing your sets, if you really feel like you start to crap out on a rep, try the same amount of reps next time. If you can't make it work well, do 1 rep less. Okay guys, let's do the next set. Not sure how my body position was for that one, but try to tune it up a little bit. I feel like my hips sagged a little bit at the bottom. The goal is to really stay nice and rigid, keep those shoulders packed, so kind of down and back, in order to get this to be effective for you. Making sure it doesn't screw up your shoulders, trying to get faster. Yeah, we want to make sure we're also using good body position too. All right, let's do the next set. Whew. 10 sets total. So we're getting there. Another 5 seconds, we're going to bang out another one. Again, abs on nice and tight, glutes on. Make sure you're really pivoting at those toes. I think I mentioned this last time. It's pretty tough to take a full breath in between these sets just because there's so much tension. It's all happening like in 3 reps in about 3 seconds. So what I've done before is taking a big breath at the beginning and breathed out a little bit on the first one, a little bit on the second one, a little bit on the last one. You're doing 5 reps. You're going to have to take a breath in there somewhere. It's hard to take a big breath in between reps on this one. So just figure out a strategy that isn't just holding your breath, which is not very effective. Another set. Seconds, we'll do another one. Again, we're only doing 3 reps, so definitely concentrate on squeezing your abs, squeezing your glutes. A couple seconds here. Awesome. Got 3 more sets left. Then we're going to get to an exercise I haven't practiced since last time we did this workout. All right guys, let's do it. Whew. Really feel myself start to slow down on that last rep. I'm going to try it one more time in the next set, and if it doesn't work on the last set, I'll only do 2 reps. 10 seconds. Do it. Whew. Better on that one, so I'll let myself do 3. Just a little shaky on the last set, but this one I did just now was good. 1 more set and we're going to move on. And I'm already behind schedule. What else is new, right? Okay, last set. Whew. Just like that, we're done. Grab a quick sip of water if you want to. All right. So next thing we're going to do is a reverse lunge with the knee up. I'm only going to do maybe 2 reps on this. I'm not particularly skilled in this exercise. What we're doing is I'm working my right leg. I'm going to go down with this leg. I'm going to jump up and I'm going to try to leave the floor. You can see I'm a little wobbly doing it slow, so probably my chances of doing it fast aren't fantastic, but I'm going to do my best. We're going to once every 30 seconds, just like last time. And we're going to do it for definitely just 5 minutes, just because I was pretty slow, or it took a little while to get my warm-up out of the way. So I want to make sure we get to the next thing. All right, we're going to get right into it. Let's go. Good, it's the right side. You know what, we'll do it every 20 seconds. I'm making a switch. Sorry to Danielle, who's running the command center over there, typing out the directions for you guys. Just to make sure we stay on our time here. There's 2 for the other side. There we go. can fit a little bit more work into our 5 minutes. And again, I'm only doing 2. I might even knock it down to 1 if I feel too wobbly. Going every 20 seconds. 5 seconds, we'll do another set. Time to rest, walk back and forth. I'm going to go another 5 seconds or so. One wasn't so bad. As you guys are doing that lunge, you don't need to go way back out behind. Roughly 90 degrees in the knees is probably just fine. Work on my other side now. So left side. Whew. A little bit of increased frequencies, making me a little bit more tired, but we're probably still in the power building zone, so that's probably okay. Okay, back to that right side. Seconds, we'll hit the left side. Nice deep breath between. Whew. This one's wearing me out. I just said at the beginning you shouldn't be too out of breath, but I admit I'm a little out of breath. Could stretch my rest time out a little bit. But I'm just going to keep rolling with it. If you got to knock it down to 1 rep, that's totally fine. If you're looking at it and wondering what my problem is, feel free to keep it at 3. All right, let's go. Go back to that left side in a sec here. Let's do it. Really focus on driving that leg up. That's going to help you get a little bit of height. Let's do another set. Slowing down a little bit. I'm going to try to keep 2 reps for the last minute. If I don't, no big deal. Always go down to 1 rep. Quality over quantity with this stuff. Let's do it. A little bit of tap down on my right side for the second one there. 10 seconds. 2 more on the left, 1 more on the right. One more on each side. Let's do it. Last one on the right. Last set. Thank goodness that's over. Good job, guys. Hopefully you got more coordinated than me and last time we did that, or the time between the last time and this time, I should say. We're gonna move on to something different. A little bit of upper body, okay? So we're gonna do a push press with the kettlebell, okay? Kettlebell is going to be in the front rack position, okay, just like this right here, okay? What's useful to know kind of about that kettlebell front rack is your thumb should be on your sternum, elbow should be, some people like to do this close to the body. The way I normally teach to most people is your elbow up, especially if you're not using a crazy heavy kettlebell. If you get going a little heavier, get more into kind of kettlebell sports stuff, for sure this kind of stance is a little more acceptable. But for our general use, keeping the elbow up, totally fine, okay? We're gonna do 1 to 3 reps every 30 seconds for, oh, we're definitely only gonna go 5 minutes here. Where does the time go? Okay, so we're gonna do 10 sets total, once every 30 seconds. And I'm gonna start with 3. If you have a fancy watch like I do, or any watch really, ideally with the kettlebell sitting right on your wrist, you wanna make sure you turn that watch around. You don't wanna have it coloring the front of that nice new smartwatch of yours. Okay guys, let's do it. 1 to 3 reps, just like this. Awesome. Every 30 seconds, we're doing 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 reps, pardon me. I'm going to stick with 3. Pushing it as hard as you can up into the air. Let's do another set with the other side. Load for that push press. What we're trying to do, abs on nice and tight, glutes on nice and tight. You want your torso to kind of slide up and down. You don't want to be doing this thing we were doing with the jump, but super vertical torso, push down. As soon as you feel that weight in your quads, that's when you pop up. Butt squeeze as hard as you can at the top. Let's do another set. Back to that right side. If you can, try to avoid bouncing that kettlebell off the wrist. Just punch it up, try to keep contact and maintain contact. Chances of bouncing it off your wrist are much lower. Okay, another set. Obviously, you've got weight on one side, so as I'm dipping with my right side, inclination is going to be like kind of, since I have resistance on the right side and on the left side, for the right shoulder dip, left shoulder come up, we want to keep the shoulders as level as possible, okay? A little bit of a change, not a big deal, but you don't just want to dip into the side, really kind of crunch that spine off to one side. Okay, let's do another set. After I just gave you that very good advice, I saw myself on that 1 rep kind of dip a little bit. So do your best to really keep yourself nice and vertical without jerking one shoulder. Almost went on the wrong side. I think I did the right side twice in a row there, actually. Sorry about that, guys. You might not have noticed, I did. A lot of people ask, what am I supposed to do with my hands? Sometimes I stick a hand up to the side just for a little bit of balance. Sometimes I'll put it on my stomach just to make sure as I'm going down, I'm not crunching. I kind of feel my, kind of cue my core to brace. Whatever works for you, that's just fine. All right. Ten seconds. One more on each side. Last one. I think I'm going to finish on my left side because I'm pretty sure I started on my right, did 2 rights in a row. I'm definitely much better at this exercise on the right, so at very least I'm going to get more practice with my left side, which I could certainly use based on kind of watching myself in the camera there. Not so good on the left. All right, let's do the last one, guys. Sweet. That is done. All right. So we're going to go super quick on this next one. We are just going to do kettlebell swings, 1 to 3 reps every 30. We'll go 20 seconds just for time here. And we're going to do that for 4 minutes. We'll start that right away. So for the kettlebell swing, I'm going to give you a demo on the first set here. You're going to start out with the kettlebell in front. You're going to hike it backwards, squeeze your glutes hard at the top, just like this. Awesome. So that's my first set. Big goal is hips come back, okay? Just like the jump, just like the power clean, just like snatch, all that power exercises. We want to load those hamstrings. So you should feel those. Push your hips back, feel those load. You shouldn't be squatting a whole bunch. You should be dropping the chest. Stretch those hamstrings, okay? Let's do it. Another set. Missed my 20-second cue on that one, so I'm going to go again in about 3 seconds. Awesome. So get back on track here. 10 seconds. Arms shouldn't be doing lots of the work. All about the hips doing the work. Go ahead, guys. 12 seconds. You can see how I'm really springing out of that position, kind of like that jump where I spend minimal amount of time at the bottom. Similar idea here. Load the hamstrings, contract super hard. Let's do it. As you're doing these, if you're trying to get a little faster with these, you can feel free to help gravity out. Squeeze the lats, squeeze the abs. Once it gets up to here, throw it back down. It's going to help to more dynamically load those hamstrings. Do it again. Whew. 10 seconds. Let's go. Hands are getting a little slippery. So if I send the kettlebell sailing your way, do your own cool down. If I destroy my camera with it, I think I should be able to hold on though. I think we got 3 more sets. Let's go. Sorry, that was 4 more sets. Let's do it, guys. Keep it going. Whew. 10 seconds. Even though we're getting towards the end of the workout, every kettlebell swing rep should be nice and snappy, nice and quick. Squeeze your butt hard at the top. Push those hips all the way through. Whew. 1 more set coming up. Last one. Do it. Whew. And that is it. Which is good because we only have about 4 minutes left. So we're going to do a super quick cool down. Sorry, I kind of crowded the cool down here. But just walk around a little bit. No need to get down on the ground yet. Take a sec, grab a sip of water. So since we're using our hamstrings are big into jumping, we're just going to start to loosen those up here. What I'm going to have you guys do is you're going to take one foot out in front, push hips back just till you feel a nice hamstring stretch. Then you're going to come up out of that. You're going to step forward. So again, I'm like this. You're going to step forward. Put the other foot straight now. Hips come back. I'm just going to do that for 10 reps. You don't need to get a 10 out of 10 stretch here. 4, 5, 6 out of 10 is just fine. We're just loading, or pardon me, stretching that hamstring. We're going to extend out the stretch for just a little longer. On these last couple reps, 4 more on each side. Good. Okay, we're going to get back into our little, actually sorry, before we hip stretch, let's go 2 thumbs up just like this right here. Turn the palms up. Stretch out that chest, keep the shoulders down. Exhaling as you get those hands back. Let's go ahead and change it up. Lift one hand up, one hand down. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. Good. Cool. Okay, now we're getting into that little hip stretch we started out with. Feet slightly wider, shoulder width apart. Okay, you are going to squat down. I'm going to use my elbows between my knees. Push my knees out. Hands go on the toes. Get to a nice little hamstring stretch. Back down to the squat. And the hamstring stretch. Back into the squat. One more time, hamstring stretch, then roll up. Good. Next thing we're going to do is just bang through that world's greatest stretch. Let's go right leg forward, left leg back, squeeze glute in the front of that back leg, go over the forward leg. Left knee is down, so the left hand goes up. Both hands down, hop back towards the wall behind you. If you can drop that elbow if you can. Hand goes up. Stacking those shoulders. Hamstring stretch. Good. Left leg forward, right leg back, squeeze that right glute. Go over that forward leg. Goes up towards the ceiling. Both hands down, back leg back towards the wall behind you. Goes up towards the ceiling. All right, so that gives us, we got a little bit more time. Let's continue on. Okay, what I want you guys to do is just kind of take that hand, take the palm up, and you're just going to reach your hand out like this right here. You should feel a nice stretch in the neck. If you want to, just gently place your hand there. Kind of support your neck, not to crank on it down or anything like that. And just kind of focus on turning that palm up. Just like that. Okay, and switch sides. Hand off first, just feeling that stretch. Then you can gently get into it. Awesome. Okay, so that brings us to the end, guys. Once again, thanks for coming out and working hard with me today. Danielle will be on the computer. She will be answering any questions you might have for the next couple minutes after the class. Anything that kind of came up that you had questions about you weren't able to ask will be available there. And then other than that, once again, thanks for coming and working hard with me. Audie will have a class, I believe it's on Tuesday. You know what the class is escapes me, but he'll be there on Tuesday. Just go ahead and stay tuned with the Facebook or the Instagram. We'll give you all the information. Once again, thanks for working hard, and we'll see you guys next time.